When Jenny shut the door, I walked to the mirror to look at myself. I grabbed my lip gloss, but saw I already had painted lips. My hair looked beautiful with my natural curls wrapped around an earthy band of flowers and vines. My dress fit like a glove, but I felt like my makeup was a tad overdone. I wanted to lean more towards subtle beauty rather than Hollywood glam. My face did look nearly flawless close up, but when I leaned into the mirror next to me, I felt a little artificial. The contour was on point, and the iridescent shimmer made me look like a mythical mermaid. But the dramatic smoky eye and overlined red lips wasn't really my style. The last time I'd wore this much makeup was at my 8th grade dance, when I had no idea what I was doing with my mom's hand-me-down makeup palettes. Jenny opened the door again, and before she could utter a single word, my whole bridal party said, "We're coming," in unison. They all told me that I looked beautiful and gathered in a single file line to exit the room in order. We stood in the hallway for several minutes before I realized I'd left Joey's badge back in the room. "Do you have the badge?" I shouted to Hannah, who was standing in the front of the line.
"What?"
she asked over her shoulder. "Joey's uniform badge, where is it?"
"Hales, I don't know, honey. We have to go now. The music started."
"Banana, I need it. It's my something borrowed." Hannah hopped out of the line and headed back towards the dressing room. I was peering over my shoulder for her when I was motioned to move out the door. I walked hesitantly, even though I knew Hannah would catch up and give it to me. When I got outside, I saw Devin standing at the end of the runway, but he couldn't see me. Candace was the tallest in my group, so I decided to hide behind her and surprise Devin at the very end, in the new dress he hadn't seen yet. Wooden drums were played as Devin's guys walked down to him, as an acknowledgement to his Caribbean mother's side. When my girls walked, soft lo-fi R&B music eased through the speakers. I could see every guest staring in my direction, and I felt like I was going to faint.
"Not too late to run for the hills,"
Hannah said, coming up from behind me to place Joey's badge in my right hand. "I love you, Hannah. My stomach is starting to hurt, but I think it's the nerves."
"I like Devin just fine, but are you sure you want to do this?"
she asked as we started moving.
"Hannah, zip it,"
my mom said as she came up to grab my other arm and walk me down. "It's okay, Mom. It's too late to back out now," I said as we walked down the aisle together. I tried really hard not to look directly at anyone, and I could smell the sweet scent of the blue bonnet flowers Devin picked for my bouquet. When I got to Devin, he wasn't crying like the guys in the wedding videos on the internet. He was just smiling at me. He was looking right into my eyes. He looked so happy, and I felt like I wanted to yak. Hannah walked to her place in line. My mother gave me away and then sat in her front row seat. Devin reached his hand out to help me to the altar, and when I grabbed his hand, I got goosebumps all over my body. The small hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and my heart was erratic. I looked around and saw my mom's smiling face, so I exhaled the breath I'd been holding in.
"Hayley, where's your dress?"
I heard Devin ask under his breath. "This is my dress," I said, looking down.
"No, where's the dress I picked?"
"I exchanged it for this one as a surprise. Don't you like it?"
"It looks nice, but I like the other one better,"
he said as he turned towards the altar. Completely crushed, I didn't say a single word after that. I just looked down at the ground. I brought my hand up and squeezed Joey's Velcro badge as hard as I could. I heard a faint whistle over the sound of the officiant and looked up at Devin, who must not have heard it. I shook my head, assuming it was in my mind, and then I heard it again, louder now. I heard the gasp come from Hannah, and the look on her face was as if she'd just seen a ghost. Hearing the familiar whistle made me release Devin's hand and turn around. There, all the way in the back, all the way at the end of the carpet, stood Joey. I thought I was dreaming until I heard people in the crowd whispering. I searched for Pop's face, and when I found it, he was just looking at me with tears streaming down his face. Am I going crazy? It can't be. Joey's dead. I must have momentarily blacked out because the third whistle rang out loud and clear through my ears. When my eyes refocused, Joey was standing so much closer now. I looked right into the face of my first love. It looked almost exactly the same as it did the last time I saw it. I just stared at him, trying to process the unbelievable information. I tilted my head, examining him as if he were an alien, and I said the first thing that came to mind. "Where the hell have you been, Josiah?" Within seconds, the joy transformed into anger, resentment, gladness, puzzlement, hurt, and shame. I tried really hard to speak, but my tongue just wouldn't move. The emotional roller coaster my mind was strapped into made me believe I was in shock. For the first time in my life, I was speechless. That one question was all my brain could come up with. I came face to face with a choice that only I could make. Could I really turn my back on Joey and marry Devin? What was a girl to do? I looked at Devin with glassy eyes, mouthed the words, "I'm sorry," and pulled off the engagement ring he'd given me only a few months ago. After I placed it in Devin's hand, I stepped down and was literally face to face with the man of my dreams, again. I balled my right fist up and punched him right on his chin. Joey groaned and clasped his face. When he looked up, he grabbed my arm before I could swing again and started laughing.
"Well, that's not exactly the way I saw this go in my head, but it's good to see there's still some fire in you. I thought you'd gone soft,"
he said, still holding my wrist with one hand. The assault probably hurt my knuckles more than it hurt him, but I was so angry I could have exploded. "Get off me, that isn't funny, Josiah. I thought you were fucking dead, you goddamn son of a bitch."
"Wow, baby girl."
"Don't you fucking baby girl me. For what you put me through, I'll kill you myself," I said, lashing out on him. I swung and swung until I hit something and then swung some more. My rage turned quickly, and I felt tears and layers of makeup peeling off my face. "I hate you," I screamed in a rage.
"Come on now, that's just tough talk. Calm down, Haley."
He whispered it, but I heard it louder than anything else. Pops ran over to me and I pushed him back as hard as I could. If looks could kill, there would have been a massacre. "You knew, didn't you? How could you not tell me?" I screamed at him, angry, crying, and full of uncontrolled emotion.
I'm so sorry, sweet pea.
Was all Pop said before he walked into the crowd that was now gathered around me and Joey. I stormed through the parade of people trying to watch the show, and everyone moved out of my way as I headed back towards the building. I slammed the door of the room as hard as I could and broke everything in sight on my way to the bathroom. I didn't flip on the light. I just leaned against the door and melted into the floor, bawling like a baby in the dark. A few minutes later, I felt a light tapping on the door. "Fuck you. Go away, Joey," I roared.
"It's Hannah?"
When I opened the door and saw Hannah's face, she looked like she'd been crying. "Did you know too?" I asked, grabbing her hands.
"No, of course not Hales,"
she said reassuringly before I let her in. "Why do things like this happen to me? Am I a bad person?" I asked with my face in my hands.
"No, Haley, it's a miracle. Joey's alive. Aren't you happy?"
"No, I'm not fucking happy, Hannah. I buried Joey. Don't you remember?"
"Yes, I was there, and I remember, but he's back. Maybe you should at least hear him out."